How can you get 36,000 storage like me? How can you overflow your inventory to where you get to the point where Shinori has 1.4 million items stored? Stick around on the other side of this. We're going to talk about Overflow today. Hey guys, Gamer Joe Coffee here. So today we're going to talk about the Overflow system in Palia and kind of detail how I've been using it recently and how some methods I've learned of ways to overflow into your chests. There are some limitations, there are some downsides, but we're going to try to cover everything as far as how to do it, and then we'll talk about some of the downsides as we go. So first things first, your items that have no inventory storage, like your artifacts from the Royal Highlands, your cookies, your tents, your decor, none of that matters. All that stuff can go in your storage, no matter how full your storage is, even if it's full. All that stuff can go in there easy, nice and easy, no problem, as long as it's one of those categories. Now, stuff that takes inventory, however, is another challenge. So first things first, I mentioned the artifacts from Royal Highlands. The artifacts from Elderwood are a different story. These guys actually take up physical space. You can see I just went from 17 to 18. So if you were to do an overflow system and try to drop that Elderwood relic into the system, it will not accept it. So you cannot very well hoard the Elderwood relics very well. But like these ones from the Royal Highlands, I can take these out and put them back with no issue, even though my inventory is overflowing. So that is the first thing I want to cover. The relics, the Elderwood and Royal Highlands are different. Now, there are multiple ways to overflow. There are some natural hunting ways. There are some machine ways. We're going to start with the machine ways. So if you are doing a garden and you are doing vegetables or anything like that, anything that cooks in here or anything that makes seeds, these are super easy to overflow. So say I have a bunch of apples in my inventory, but oh no, my storage is full. You can see right now I'm at 36,259, which is double the inventory storage you're supposed to have. So what do? Well, I take these apples and cook them to make seeds. Oh wait, I don't want seeds. I cancel the seeds and it forces the apples back into my storage even though it overflows. So that's an easy way to store anything that can be processed by any machine. If you have enough to run the recipe once, you have enough to force it back to your storage. This works for all the crops in the seed maker. Any food items over here in the glowworm farm, for instance, if we take this out, you'll see it's processing. I can cancel it. I can take out more apples from my inventory, put them back in here, cancel them again. They'll always go back into storage because there's no room for, there's no calculation for the storage when it cancels a recipe. So anything that's edible, this does include like mushrooms and onions and even sweet leaf counts, honey, anything that goes in the glowworm farm is overflowable. So that is one way I like to do it. All my foods, if I get extra foods, I'll bring them back here, put them in here. If I get foods from my horses, I'll get them back here, put them here, cancel that. It'll force it into storage, which is super handy if you're wanting to do overflow. Now, that works for those. That works for the preserve makers. Up here, I have my other machines. So any of your ore, you can overflow as well. Just cancel it like before. Any stone, clay, white stone, any of your ores. Now, the problem is if you don't have enough. Let's say you only have one and you put it in there, you can't cancel it because the recipe is not working. But if you have at least 5, you can put it in there and cancel it and it goes back here. Like this one, I only have 8, but I have at least 5. So when I go here, it'll start this recipe. When I cancel, it'll force all 8 back into my storage. Just like that. Nice and simple. So that's how you can do stone and stuff. You can, over here, you can do the mushrooms or the silk or the cernikides or the cotton. Any of that stuff that's processable in here. Any of that will work through this machine, as well as the wood. Any of your wood items will work in here as well. So anything that can be processed through a normal crafter will work. Now, cooking works a little differently, but cooking is not blocked by inventory fullness. So if you were to say cook at a cooking party, or let's say you were to go to the grill here and you were to, like, let's just say grill up some fish. We'll go with something simple like a fathead minnow. We'll grill up a fathead minnow. Now, when you're cooking, if your inventory is full, it will not matter. It will loot it anyway because it's considered a recipe, and it will put it in your overflow as soon as it's done. So you'll see here, we're going to loot this, and I picked it up. Even though my inventory is completely full, I picked it up. So what happens? When you loot something that's going to overflow, if your inventory is already full, you'll see this overflow bar down here, and you'll see it's got some wood and some fiber in it from where I chopped down some trees. Here's the grilled fish that we cooked. Now, what's going to happen to that is it's going to sit there. But as you do more things and overflow, this one will move to the left, will move to the left, will move to the left, on and on and on until this heartwood plank will get forced back home into your storage. So as long as you continue to loot and continue to flow, eventually this grilled fish will make its way back to your storage. And these items don't stack. So if you're chopping down 2 different trees, they will sit in 2 different slots. Like I chopped down 2 trees here. You can see this one's got 4 and 1 plant fiber. This one's got 6 and 2 plant fiber. Now, theoretically, in my normal inventory, those would have stacked on top of each other. But in this case, in Overflow, they do not. They are treated as separate items and not considered as an actual inventory. So if you were to chop down 3 or 4 trees in a row, those would clear your Overflow bar and they would force whatever's in there to go back home. Nice and easy. There are other things you can do though. So like I said, cooking overflows here. We talked about the crafters and everything like that. Now, if you have fish, starred fish, so you can see here I've got some starred fish on display. Well, my inventory is full, so I can't pick them up. And my storage is full, so I can't put them in my storage, but I can actually pick these up. When I do, you'll see it will automatically go back to my storage, not my inventory, because it's considered like a decor item. When you're picking up a decor item and your inventory is full, it will just force it straight to storage instead of trying to put it in your inventory. So that's how that works. What I've been doing is stocking up a house full of fish, going into the H menu. Well, I'm on PC, so it's an H. If you're on console, it'll be different. But go to your overhead view, pick up the entire house that has all the stuff in it, and it will pick up all those fish and force them back to storage. You'll see right here, force to storage, force to storage. That'll all be now in my storage, even though my storage is overflowing. I always keep a house here for starred bugs and starred fish, and I dump them in there, and then when it gets kind of full or half fullish, I'll fill my inventory full and then pick it up. So before we continue, we're going to talk about filling your inventory full. How do you fill your inventory full? So I've used decor in the past, but the easiest thing I find is repair kits. I always keep repair kits on me at all times anyway. They are a super handy way to repair out in the wild while you're doing things. So if you want to do that, what you can do is fill your inventory with however many repair kits you can craft and just split this stack. Now, a lot of this works really easy on PC, where your controls are very direct at your fingertips and you can do a lot of things at once. So your consoles may be a little more restricted, but as far as PC goes, all you got to do is split your stacks. Boom. Once your slots are full, you're good to go. Anything you are able to loot will be forced into overflow. That being said, not everything is lootable. Some things like normal bugs and stuff like that will not let you pick them up. I can't loot my garden here because I have no slots for stuff. So stuff like this, I'll have to empty my inventory, loot it all, and then go take it and dump it off in the machines, which is easy. Next, we're going to go take a look at Royal Highlands and Elderwood and talk about the unique aspects of Overflow with those systems. Okay, so I was wrong. I'm going to get to the Elderwood and the Royal Highlands in a minute. Please bear with me. I wanted to touch on the horses or the animals in your barn. Now, the animals in the barn have become a huge benefit to me in my Overflow journey because they are super easy to overflow with. All you got to do, fill your inventory completely full and go loot them. They automatically overflow no matter what. They do not block you from overflow, and it is so good. So I can loot that immediately. I'll get 3 things. Actually, I got 5 things. I forget. You get all 5 of the fertilizers from my horse, and they all 5 go into this overflow and force the first 5 back to my storage. I can do that with all these horses. You can see all the food items, all the meats, all the fertilizers, all this stuff gets forced back to my property. No matter what, my inventory gets overflowed. You can see here, I got meats, I got food, I got fertilizer. All that stuff will get forced overflowed back to my property and will fill up my storage until I need cash. If I need cash, you know, I'm going to go check it out. If I need cash, all I got to do is look at the fertilizer in my storage, start burning it, start selling it. It's super easy. You can just stock tons of fertilizer and you don't have to worry about maxing out the gold cap. Just boom, look at this. Ogapoo fur, Ogapoo skin and fur, jackhat meat, Cernic hides, all that. All this stuff that these guys drops. Jackhat fur, Muujin meat. This is so good that I'm going to start implementing this with my other animals as well. Currently, I don't have any animals aside from mostly horses. But now, knowing what I know, I'm going to definitely do some more animals because all that stuff can overflow. And I don't have to worry about certain limiting factors like the issue with foraging and stuff. So we're going to talk about the Elderwood and the Royal Highlands and some of the golden opportunities for overflow they have. So the Royal Highlands and the Elderwood have some unique opportunities for overflow. This is key. So you can see right now I'm chopping down a tree. This works really well with trees, bugs, as well as mining and hunting. Now, things like the foraging do not work for whatever reason, and fishing don't exactly work, but fishing can be overflowed all day long anyway, as long as you know what you're doing. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. It is a little harder, and it's primarily for PC players, but I'm going to talk about that in a minute. It is super, super easy to overflow fishing once you know what you're doing, and if you have a PC. But for now, we're going to talk about the wood and the stone. The good key to Royal Highlands and some of the Elderwood items is the essence. So essence allows you to loot stone, trees, and bugs and hunting without the need for any inventory space. I don't know why foraging doesn't work, but for some reason, what happens is if you have something in your inventory, like if I were to try to loot an animal that, let's say I had meat here. If I were to try to loot a Cernic that dropped meat, and I had Cernic meat, one of them right here in this slot, what would happen is if I can loot one of those items off that Cernic, even if it's just one piece of meat, let's say he has one meat, some hide, and a plushie and a horn. Well, if I can loot that meat because there's an empty spot in my inventory, it'll let me pick it up. What then will happen is the other remaining items will be forced into my overflow. This works with silk bugs very, very well. So if you have an inventory full of silk, you can loot bugs that drop silk all day long. All day long. What will happen is the silk will stack in your inventory, and the bugs and any flowers that they drop will be forced into your overflow. So that's one way you can do silk. You can do bugs in general if they drop silk. But the good thing about Royal Highlands is it has the essences. So any tree, any stone, and any bug and any hunting can be looted because of the essence attached to it. For some reason, the foraging does not work, and I know why the fishing doesn't work. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the Elderwood is limited to the ones that are corrupted. So corrupted trees, corrupted bugs, corrupted hunting. Those are good because they have essence attached. Now, that's a bit of a harder hunt because you're having to specifically look for corrupted things as opposed to the Royal Highlands where everything drops amber. So it makes it so much easier. But that is a good way if you're hunting in the Royal Highlands and you don't want to leave and go back. fill your inventory full, and it will continue to overflow no matter what because you're getting that essence. So fishing is a bit of a different creature. We're going to talk about fishing in just a second. So like I said, if you have the silk option, you have the essence option, you have anything that drops something like one piece of meat or something, that is an option. Now, fishing is a problem because fishing does not let you initiate the fishing while your inventory is full. If you have an inventory that is full, you cannot throw the rod out. So what can you do? This is one that I have not heard anyone talking about. I figured out some of the other ones through other people sharing them. The essence I kind of figured out on my own. But the fishing one is one I figured out on my own that I'm super proud of because I have literally heard no one talking about this. But it is a trick that can primarily be used on PC because of how complicated it is. It's kind of hard for other players to be able to do it in the time window required. You can, but it's a little slower. So what I do is I fill all but one slot of my inventory. You have to have one slot for the fish to fit into. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cast my rod and then refill that slot before I pull the fish in. So I'm going to cast out and then immediately go to my inventory, split that stack again, and then wait for the fish to bite. Once the fish bites, it doesn't matter that my inventory is full because I've already started fishing with a full inventory. Or without a full inventory. So now that I got the fish on the hook, I'm going to reel this bad boy in, and no matter what, he's going to go into my storage because I've already got him on the line. So you'll see here, the Royal Beta has dropped down here into my overflow, and that can be repeated ad nauseum. I have not had a single issue with this. It is one that I had to kind of figure out on my own, but I was like, if it don't let you cast while you have the inventory full, what if you were to move it back after you started casting? And it works beautifully. So that is another way you can overflow. Next, we're going to talk about stores. Stores are a huge way that I overflow. So I've been doing a lot of cooking parties. I've been doing a lot of gardening to make some money. And honestly, I don't need the money right now, really. I use it for some things. So kind of what I've been using a lot of my money for is to reinvest in stock from the stores. Let me show you what I mean. So I don't know if I mentioned this previously, so I'm going to kind of like go over it a little bit again just to make sure. I mentioned that you can do starred bugs and starred fish as far as picking them up and forcing them into your storage from physically on your house property. I don't know if I mentioned that you can also do that with starstones and the masks, the new Aeroflow, Pyroflow masks from the Highlands. If you put those down, you can also pick them back up and force them into your storage. Anything that can be placed physically, food items can be done that way. Anything that has inventory, like takes up space, but that you can put down physically, can be picked back up with that little house system that I showed you and put back into your storage without having to worry about finding a machine that uses it or none of that. All that stuff can be picked up through the house system like I showed. So now we go on to stores. So what I do is if I need some of this stuff, I have money. Money is not an issue. Once you get to a certain point, you know money is not an issue. So I'm doing cooking parties regularly. I'm making good money, doing fishing parties, getting ready to start bug parties as well. So what I do is once my inventory my gold gets a little high, or I start running out of wood, like on my stream the other night, I ran out of heartwood. So I kind of showed this off on stream. If your inventory here is full, it will not stop you from buying things from the store. So what I can do is I can say, I need some heartwood. You know what? I'll buy 100 heartwood. Just come here, click this, go through here, click as many as you want. I'll take 34 heartwood. So what happens is every single purchase goes into your overflow and forces all that stuff into your overflow. Yes, you're going to deal with that message at the top of your screen a little bit, but it will force all that stuff into overflow, and everything you purchased will get forced back to your house as well once it clears this bar. So you can do that with the wood, the copper and iron, the ceramic, the stone, the white slab, the glass, and the glass bulbs, as well as you can go over here to the to Zeki's store, the general store, and you can buy anything from him as well. Now, be careful on these. If your inventory is full, if your ammo inventory is not full, I should say, then you're going to have an issue because it will put it in your ammo inventory. But you can do the same thing with your ammo inventory like we did with our main inventory and fill it. Now, if I buy a worm, you can see my worms are full. I got 4 stacks. If I buy a worm, it will buy it, but it will force it back to my house because there is no overflow for ammo. So it will automatically force it back to my house. Now, this can be done with all of these. Smoke bombs, carrot seeds, all this stuff. When I do my cooking parties, I come stock up on a bunch of garlic, spice sprouts, flour, butter, eggs, whatever I need. I double check and I overflow extra just so I have them just in case. So this is a really good way to get some things that if you're missing them. Fur is one that's hard to overflow unless you just get it from hunting and you overflow it from hunting. Things like the Crystal Lake Lotus and the Sundrop Lily are hard to get as well. So these are nice and easy. You can just overflow them from here. I actually need to look at my inventory because I don't think I've been buying these. So I probably need to overflow from some of these for my own storage. As well as the guild stores. Every guild store you can do this with. It is super, super handy. So all the guild stores have their own inventories and all those can be overflowed as well. As well as the material store here, you can see leather, fabric, and silk. I think those are the main ones for here. Yeah, leather, fabric, and silk can be overflowed as well through the same exact system. And that's how I currently keep extra stock of leather, fabric, and silk. I do have my machines, but once you process it into fabric, silk, or leather, you can't really get it back into the storage. So if I know I'm going to craft something, I can steal it from my machine and use that. But the majority of the time, I'm running this stock right here because my machines have ran out and I'm waiting on them to cook. But this stock right here is super easy to get. Straight overflow into your storage. Just purchasable right through that right there. Nice and easy. Okay, so I'm here at Ashura, and I figured I'd show you the guild stores. And so right now I'm at 332, which is not a lot. I usually like to save up to 1,000 before I spend them. But there's some really good stuff in here. If you need seeds, they're in here. If you need Dari cloves, heat root, sweet leaf. Sweet leaf is an easy one. I would not buy it because you can loot it and cook it or run it through the glowworm farm and restock it. I wouldn't do that. Heat root though and Dari cloves, you cannot stock those very easily. Dragonbeard's peat I am out of, and you need it to make the lures, so I might get me some of those. Bright shrooms are restorable. Flowwood planks, that would be a nice and easy one. Heart drop lilies as well if you need those, if you're still doing relationships. So any of these you can buy. I'm actually going to look at probably getting me some Dragonbeard's peat, I think. This could be used to make the lures, but there are lures for sale at Oni. So I could just go spend my Oni tickets on that and save these for my Dari cloves in case I want to make some sushi or sashimi or something. So there's options. And if you get a lot of tokens like me and you don't know what to spend them on, when I first started, I blew my storage of my metal items on all this stuff. And yeah, I've got a couple now and I like that. But now I want to get this stuff. I want this stuff stocked up and stored up and hoarded so that if I ever need it, I've got an abundance. So that's kind of my goal now, is anything I know that I can't force into overflow, I'm going to come here and buy it and force it to my storage just like that. Boom, look at that. Dari cloves aplenty. We just forced a bunch of them home. I've got a little bit of tokens. I might as well force a Dragonbeard peat because why not? You know, I'll go ahead and clear my metals out while I'm here. I don't really use them for anything else. I was using them to make gold, but gold is so easy to come by at this point, and I'm doing so many cooking parties that I don't really need the gold. I'd rather have the materials on hand. So you can do that with any of the guild stores, any of the stores in the game that you purchase things from. You can do that. I assume you could even do that with the Amber Echo store if you want to buy anything from there that needs to overflow, like arrows or something. I haven't really tested it, but I'm assuming it works the exact same way. I don't know why it wouldn't. But that is the majority of the overflow system. You have fish overflow, I showed you. You have silk overflow on the bugs that drop silk. You have overflow on the essence, both the corrupted essence and the highlands is abundant with essence. So those are super nice. You have the starred bugs and starred fish on your property, as well as the star stones and the starred masks. You have the food that can be cooked in, or edible items or cookable items that can be processed in the glowworm farm. You have the crops that can be processed in the seed maker. You have the leather, all the leather and mushrooms and that processable stuff. You have the ores. You have all that, as well as the final one that is super handy for is mining. This is one I had not covered yet. But mining is so easy to overflow. Mining is so easy. I'm just gonna show it right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna split my stack. So I got a little slot open for the first mine. Basically, you want to go up, find your first mine, and just go ahead and hit it. This one's nice and easy since it's just a standard rock. It's gonna give us what we need. So what you need is not flint. That is exactly the opposite of what I wanted. So I'm going to delete this flint. What I want is stone. Stone in your inventory is super valuable because everything you mine drops stone. Now that I have 2 stacks of stone here, until these 2 fill up, I have unlimited mining overflow. So I can go mine anything. This copper here, I don't have copper in my inventory. I don't have flint in my inventory. But if it drops, boom, it's going to force into overflow while the stone stacks on top of the already existing stone. So this may run into an issue because I've only got 2 stacks. If I hit 200, it will stop. So what I'll do is I'll bring that over here and split another stack. You can do this ad nauseum until you run out of storage spots. If your entire inventory is full of stone and it's full, you're going to have to go back home at some point. Now, the stone is nice because if you get a lot of stone, you can just sell it. I mean, who needs that much stone? But if you do want to hoard it, go home and put it in the machine to make stone bricks, cancel it, and it'll force itself to flush back into the inventory as well. So that's a lot of different ways you can do overflow. I don't think there's any that I missed unless I'm just not aware of them. I only recently discovered the ranching system and the fishing one, and it is super, super cool, and I like it. I really like how the Highlands works as well, where everything drops it. For some reason, the foraging does not work. It's like the foraging does not recognize the amber essence inside of it as a lootable object until it's actually looted, and then it spawns the amber essence. So it's kind of weird, but everything else pretty much works, so it's super handy. Anything that's processable though, that's forageable, like onions or garlic, ginger, stuff that you can put in the glowworm farm, you can store, but certain things like the flowers and stuff, you can't. So there are some limits to it. As far as seeds go, you can also plant the seeds on your property and water them till they're fully grown trees. And when you can pick the seed off of it, if your inventory is completely full, that picked seed will let you pick it and it will force itself into overflow. Then you could chop down the tree and force that stuff to overflow. So if you want to do that, you can do that as well. There's all kinds of different ways to do it. There's all kinds of weird little mechanisms to do it. It's kind of like a game within a game, and I enjoy hoarding so much. So I kind of do enjoy this system, and I kind of do enjoy like learning how to work my way around the little intricacies of how it works and everything. Like I said, it's like a game within a game. How much can I hoard? I know Shinori's got 1.4 million items, and I know I'm never going to get to that level. But honestly, I kind of want to try. I mean, I'm at level 1055 in game. I have gotten mostly everything I want to this point. I'm still missing a few items here and there. But if I can use this little trick to kind of give me something to keep me going and enjoy Palia even more, a little game within a game to continue my process, I'm going to use it. I mean, honestly, I like it. I really do enjoy it. It is a unique way to kind of enjoy the game and to enjoy hoarding, which I always do. I'm a super hoarder. But anyway, Besides all that, that is the overflow system. If you have any questions, this is fairly complicated, fairly nuanced, fairly weird because it's not necessarily intended to be the way that you operate with your storage. But if you have any questions or any comments or any other ways you can think of to overflow, drop them down in the comments below. I'll be down there for sure. Hopefully this helped you guys. I know I had a lot of people asking me how to do this and why I was like, why is your inventory full of repair kits? Holy repair kits. You got so many repair kits. What's the deal with all the repair kits? Now you know. This is what I'm doing. I'm enjoying overflow right now. I'm a hoarder at nature, so the more I can hoard, the better. But yeah, so if you have any comments or any of that, I would appreciate you dropping down in the comments below and let me know. I do comment and interact with you guys all day long, 24/7, as much as I can. But other than that, that's pretty much it for Overflow as far as I'm aware. I've been Gamer Joe Coffee. I hope you guys have an amazing day and an even better cup of coffee. I will see you guys in the next one.
Thank you to all my YouTube members for your amazing support. It truly means the world and helps us keep this channel going. I really do appreciate it.